right, well, good morning from top of Harmon Hill on day 3, start of day 3. I'm gonna try to get that sun out of our eyes. Spent the night last night up here, as you saw on the last video. Great views over Bennington, and an unbelievable sunset. Nice and cool, coolest night probably that we'll have in the next few days until it cools off supposedly this weekend. Really looking forward to that. Tent got drenched, guessing from the dew. I don't think it rained. It may have rained lightly, but I kept my flies open all night, and it was just nice and cool. I had to pull out the blanket, or the quilt, sorry. All right, well, we're getting started now. It's going to be a couple mile descent into the parking lot to Route 9, I guess it is, road that takes you into Bennington. Gonna probably take a quick break there. There's a privy there. Move on. Probably stop at the first shelter, which is about 3.5–4 miles up. Grab something to eat, and then the goal today is Goddard Shelter. It's about 11.9, 12 miles up. That'll be our longest day on this trip. So hopefully we'll get there. There are a few stealth sites along the way if that's needed, but I'm really hoping to get to the Goddard Shelter tonight. Well, we'll take a peek along the way if there's something to see. Otherwise, I'll see you down at the parking lot. Alrighty, bye-bye. All right, man, what a knee buster of a descent. Just finished coming down Harmon Hill here to the road and came across my first trail magic. Let's see. For through hikers and section hikers, provided by Meals on Wheels of Bennington County. Hikers are welcome to eat at our cafe, 124 Pleasant Street, Bennington, Vermont. Cost is $4 for a full meal between hours 11:30. Let's see. Oh well. First magic was a dud. But I'm sure a bunch of people did enjoy it. Okay, well, I'm crossing the road and I see a tent back there. Could that be trail magic? I don't know. We'll see. Try to make it alive across this road.
Pennsylvania was just the first.
I was only updated.
Across the border, it was great.
New Jersey, New York, but then Massachusetts, it all just started going.
That's good timing.
Just 15 minutes before you arrived.
Yeah.
Well, I was busting my ass down the damn hill to get here.
That's steep too coming on too.
Doing this the other day.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah,
Nice and cold and
It
moist.
didn't always look like that.
Was there somebody there?
Flavor.
Guys,
Well, that was awesome. First trail magic. It's a hiker who's off the trail now with a stress fracture. He's from right around Bennington. Trail name's Recon, but it was pretty cool because a bunch of the AT hikers that were coming through recognized him right off the bat. Some of them not having seen him since Georgia, but he came off in Pennsylvania and he's hoping to get back on the trail here in the next week or so. He was out there with his wife and a couple good friends of theirs. Some great banana bread and cake and fruit. Had my first soda since November, and I'm hoping it'll power me up this hill. Now we got about a mile climb, which should be pretty tough, but it should be the toughest part of the day. Again, just to kind of recap, looking to go well from the very beginning. Looking to go about 11, 12 today. So I've already knocked out a couple of those, 2.5, 3 of those, and so should still be a fairly early day, and hoping for a good one. This is a pretty cool creek. I forget the name of the creek here, but it kind of runs along the road here that runs into Bennington. This is a place where parking lot where people pick up hitches and rides to get into Bennington. It's about 5 miles down the road. All right, I'm off. right, so we made it up the steepest part of the climb. Passed up that first shelter there. Stopped for some water. Loaded up on water. More than I want to carry. But it's so doggone hot. I don't want to be without either. So, pretty special spot here. Getting ready to enter the Glastenbury Wilderness. We will take this all the way, go all the way through the wilderness today. But what I know now that I didn't know last year when I started this spot was that this is probably one of the more beautiful areas of the southern half of the Long Trail. Man, there are just some areas in there that you feel like you're in an extremely remote area. One of the guys on Gut Hooks mentioned that he felt like it was in Jurassic Park, and that about sums it up. All right, I'll try to show you some of it here in a little bit. All right, so this is what the trail's looking like in the Glastenbury Wilderness. Just crossed over Hell Hollow Creek or something like that. Last water source until you get to Goddard Shelter. So if you need water there, pick it up. But man, this is just beautiful out here. Remember coming through here last year, it was super muddy, and you can see the remnants of what I assume was another muddy June. But this is pretty much it right now. Pretty moderate grade for a little bit. To the shelter we kind of go up and down, and a little bit of moderate grade and up and down, but no real intense climb. So we'll be cruising in. I'm guessing we'll get into the shelter probably 4 or 5 o'clock. Pretty early night. Probably stay in the shelter tonight, try to dry my tent out while I'm there. It's kind of in my pack, really wet right now. Talk to you again soon. So I haven't been recording much this afternoon, but I'm still making my way through the Glastenbury Wilderness. I'll be out exiting the wilderness area in less than a mile, and that'll put me hopefully within 3 miles of Goddard Shelter and the summit of Glastenbury Mountain. It's been a good afternoon, kind of up and down in terms of elevation. Some of the climbs have worn me a little bit, but only because I'm just not where I need to be yet in terms of trail legs. But they weren't over the top tough by any stretch. Mostly gradual, except for that one coming out of Vermont 9. That one is, I'll stand by that. That one is a tough climb out, but it's only about a mile, 1.2 miles, something like that. All right, we'll keep going. It's been a great walk through the Glastenbury Wilderness, man. It's been really actually kind of cool most of the time. You get on the inclines, on the ascents, and you know, you start to feel it a little bit and start to sweat, but a lot of it's been just like this, and relatively cool as far as the last few days are concerned. All right, let's check on out. Not sure I'll check in again before the shelter, but if we see something, I'll check in. All right, good morning. Well, it's morning of day 4. Just started the little short climb to the Glastenbury lookout. Stayed here on Glastenbury Mountain last night at Goddard Shelter. It's a beautiful shelter. Man, one of the nicest shelters I've probably ever been in. Great privy, water, the single best water probably on the entire AT. Right out of the mountain spring, ice cold. Didn't do a sum up last night. Kind of get tied up talking in the shelter and then just crashed. But we'll start day 4 today. It's supposed to hit some rains today, so I'm gonna try to get as much in as possible. If I can get to Story Spring before the rain, that would be a big win for today. That's the goal. Story Spring, about 9 miles, and I'm gonna stay there tonight. A little bit shorter than yesterday, but a little sore this morning. So probably take a quick shot once we get up here on top of the fire tower. See you in a bit. All right, so this is what the top of the Glastenbury fire tower gives you. It's a little hazy out there in the distance today, but still pretty damn spectacular. Let's see what we can see. This is north, so I'm pretty sure that that's probably Stratton out there in front of us. Not sure, but I'm guessing that's Stratton out there in front of us. If we look over here, this is towards the east. That's New Hampshire and the Whites. That's Haystack. Haystack, I believe, is the one to the right, though I'm not 100% positive on that. Yeah, I think I've got my directions correct. Looking south, looking back towards Massachusetts, and then over in this direction. And if my directions are correct, and I think they are, that would be the Taconics of New York, way out in the distance. Not that near range right there, but beyond that. And again, it's a little bit hazy out there, but you might be able to make out the shape. That's pretty impressive range out that way. All right, well, I'm gonna chill here for a second, climb back down, and get moving. Man, the breeze up here is just remarkable. So feels good after the heat of the last few days. It's supposed to be, if the Weather Channel forecast was correct, it's supposed to be high in the around 75 today. And by Friday, Saturday, we'll see lows down around 40. That's awesome. All right, check it out. All right, well, we're just taking a little siesta here on the side of the trail. Not bad terrain or elevation, gain and loss today. I mean, there's a little bit of climb. There's a climb there out of Kid Gore Shelter where I stopped for a while to eat lunch and so forth. But boy, my legs are like jello today. I guess, doing 12 and a half yesterday, and 10 the day before. Kind of caught up with me a little bit. So we're dropping it today. I think it's like 9 today. Only got about 3.2 left to get to Story Spring. Tomorrow, I don't know, tomorrow's going to be like 10 to Stratton Mountain, Stratton Pond Shelter. So hoping to get into the shelter here in another hour or so. Be able to just kind of chill out, lay down, kind of recoup a little bit. Didn't expect it. It's really not as hot today as it's been, but it's still humid as hell. And so I'm consuming a lot of water, which is good, but right now I'm on a little stretch where I don't think there's any water until I get to the shelter, so kind of have to baby this. I got about half a liter, 3/4 of a liter. But anyway, good day. Haven't done a lot of filming, but been kind of, first half was pretty good. Just kind of cruised into Kid Gore. Then it was about a mile climb out of Kid Gore, which, to be honest with you, wasn't really tough. Definitely wasn't the hardest climb so far on this trip. But today, it felt kind of hard. So, well, all right. I'm gonna chill here for another second, get up and push that final 3-2, try to get there before the rain comes. It's supposed to rain this afternoon. Alrighty, see you soon. All right, so I made it to the shelter, Story Spring Shelter, and hung out there for an hour or so, and then decided to push on another 2.5 miles, 2.6 miles to Black Brook, I believe it's called. There's a bridge that crosses Black Brook, and apparently some nice campsites there. So that's the new plan. I got about 2 miles to go. The advantage of that is that it takes 2.5 miles off of my hike tomorrow, which the beginning part will be up Stratton Mountain. It'll also make tomorrow a shorter day, and give me a chance to get some good rest in. I made a reservation for Sunday at the Green Mountain House hostel in Manchester Center. So I will do 2 Neros, one in and one out, giving me the most amount of time to get rested up, cleaned up, resupplied in town. I think that's probably going to work, so we'll see how it goes. All right, we'll check in when we get to the campsite so you can see what it looks like. All right, we're going to close out day 4. Good day. I ended up going, as I said before, extra 2.5 miles. Got an awesome campsite right here along this creek. I'll turn the camera around here and show you in a second, but that gave us over 10 miles for the day, more than I planned on doing. So things are good right now. Hoping it doesn't storm tonight. It's supposed to storm, but the good thing about that is it's going to bring in some cooler weather. So that's what we're looking for. This is going to finish out the second video in this series. So as soon as I get to town, I'll get these uploaded, and we'll be kicking off day 5 in the morning. See you soon.